Everyone. I woke up to a baby being adopted. So I think what usually happens is you've been hunting for that baby, the perfect baby online, and we as artists have gone out of our way to make sure that baby looks her best when she has her photo shoot and her hair is perfect and her outfit's cute and matchy, and hopefully the lighting's good and it wasn't a rainy day. And you have this vision in your head of the baby that's going to arrive on your doorstep, and then what you get is this big cardboard box with a bunch of bubble wrap and this baby all mummy wrapped and popped in there, and it comes out and it's got bed head, and it's not the same. And I don't mean to say that that baby's going to arrive hideous. It's not. It's just not going to be photo op perfect. It's just going to need some TLC. It's been traveling around. So this is how I store my babies in my studio. And the reason why I keep them stored like this is because I want them to be safe. I want them to be dust free. I don't want anything to happen to them. And I'm in a working studio, so, you know, I could be working on a lot of different things, and I'd rather dust off a box than dust off a baby. And I like to keep them safe. It just makes it easier for me when the order comes in to process the baby, because I like to get babies out fast. I know people who adopt them are, you know, just at the edge of their seat saying, when's that baby gonna get here? And I don't want to make them wait too long. And every baby that comes from me gets a toothbrush. I'll explain that in a minute. This is their passy and their passy holder, and I'm doing a video on how to make these really cool passy holders. And, you know, COAs, birth certificates, all that good stuff. Some fun diapers, baby socks. What else is in here? A couple of outfits. This is the outfit she was photographed in. And let's see, here she is. She's wrapped up because I'm weird, and I know that this is a vinyl child and she doesn't get cold and she doesn't need to be wrapped up, but I just feel uncomfortable putting her in a plastic box with no blanket. And this isn't necessarily the blanket that's going to go with her. I have a stack of nursery blankets that I keep just for putting babies in boxes to store them. So the baby you're going to get is going to come home in pajamas. So this is how the baby will come. I put hair nets on babies. The reason why I do unrooted babies, and this baby is just top rooted, but I think it just protects the mohair, which can be easily pulled off. They're stretchy. You can save it for later. And look at this poor mess of a baby's hair. And you're probably thinking, that's not the hair that was in the pictures. What did she do? She sent me this cotton fluff, this poor child. It will go back to the way it was in the pictures now. We'll show you how. But first, let's address other stuff. Sometimes when this baby gets to you, she might be a little bottom heavy. That just means her glass beads have settled, and sometimes they'll settle back here in the back or on the bottom, and she won't feel weighted properly, and it's a super quick fix. Basically, what you're going to want to do is turn your baby upside down. You don't want this baby falling on the floor, so make sure you have a good grip. And you're just going to massage those beads back down to where they're supposed to be. There is a stretchy stocking in here full of glass beads, and if you imagine if I pulled that stocking up like this, all the beads would go down to the bottom and create this big ball of beads. What we want to do is distribute that glass, and you might need to do this several times when you have the baby, and it's no big deal. And it helps you get those glass beads where you like them. Some people like a bottom heavy baby, and that's okay. You can also turn this baby all the way upside down, shake it up and down, but I don't think that's totally necessary, especially not on video. So that's an easy fix. Also, I put Mod Podge in all the flanges. Now, let me show you, in case you're not familiar with these babies. This is a flange, and this is where the cloth body is attached. The cloth body is soft fabric, and this is vinyl. This has a rubbery feel to it down here. This hasn't been painted, nothing's happened. So when you get that fabric in there, if I didn't Mod Podge it, this arm would be very difficult to move. And then when you put the Mod Podge in, it creates a really glossy surface, very shiny and slippery, so that these arms move very freely up and down. Sometimes they move very, very, very freely up and down. So be aware that if there's any moisture on that trip, if it's rainy season, if it's snowing where you're at, if baby was shipped and it took several days and it was in a truck overnight where things got a little moist, that this Mod Podge might have gotten a little sticky. It's no big deal. It's going to dry. It's going to go back to the way it was. I have had somebody email me frantically saying, the arm won't move, the arm won't move. How do I take this arm off? You don't have to do that. Basically, I call it popping the seal. All you have to do, and let me take her little pajamas off for a minute so I can show you. All you have to do is kind of break that little moisture seal that happened, and it's really super easy, and you're not going to hurt the baby, so don't freak out. It'll be tight, and this doesn't always happen, but just in case it does, because you know I ship these babies everywhere and weather isn't the same everywhere. All you have to do is move that baby. You're going to hear like a little tiny, not a popping sound, but you're going to feel the Mod Podge release from the fabric, and it'll just be like, I can't explain it. You'll know when you do it. So you just move that arm slowly until you feel that little, like this, and then it'll start moving freely again. You might want to just give her a little bit of up and down movement to make sure it's fine, and it'll be great. And that's it. And you can always write to me if it freaks you out. It's just easier to show you in video than it is to explain in an email. Super, super easy. Let's attend to that hair. If you get a baby from me, I include this little weird toothbrush, and the bristles are very, very firm because it's a brand new toothbrush. And what I like to do is just rub my thumb over it and just break those bristles down a little bit. I want the firmness, but I just don't want it scratching that baby's head. If you have, or if you've gone out and shopped and gotten one of these brushes, and I know this one looks terribly gross, but it gets stained from the dye that's used in mohair. These brushes are great. There's these brushes. I know these look gross, don't they? Trust me, they're clean. It's just dye from mohair. You'll get a nice fresh one. And you don't have to use this, but until you go out and get a brush, a proper brush that you like, this is a good one. And I like the bristles to look like they're kind of a little bit exploded. I don't know how to explain that, like you've been brushing your teeth really hard. It just makes it a little bit softer. And this is mohair. It's animal hair. Goats and sheep have a lot of lanolin, and it's this really great substance that keeps that hair very moist and conditioned. And honestly, that's the best thing for that hair. But when we process the hair to make it ready for doll making, we remove a lot of that lanolin, unfortunately. So this hair gets dry. And so basically what we're doing is replacing what Mother Nature gave us originally. So what you want to use is a conditioner that's designed for mohair and for these babies and not for people. A lot of people use regular detangler that you get at a Target, and I'm sure that's fine, but I can't say use that because I don't know what chemicals are in there. I don't know if those chemicals are going to hurt the paint on that baby. They probably won't, but I don't want to take the chance, and I don't want to tell anybody, oh, I'll just go to Target and get something that smells like blueberries. I make my own conditioner, and it's designed specifically for Angora, and it has all the conditioners that you need for this hair, and it shouldn't hurt the paint. I want to say it shouldn't because it hasn't so far. It's been great, but I can't guarantee it, especially if you use it on a baby that I didn't make and that paint is something different than what I use. It's a little pricey, and when you get it, you're going to think, geez, that's a tiny little bottle, but really, it lasts forever. It just takes a couple little spritz. And mine smells like, smells kind of like baby powder. Other artists sell it. You don't have to buy it from me. If I have samples available when I ship a baby, I sometimes throw one in the box. So here we go. I don't spray this right on the baby's head. I don't want to mess with paint. I don't want to wear paint out. You don't need all that extra moisture. I spray it on the brush. Whoop. And you can also spray it on your fingertips, and then just kind of get those little hairs nice and moistened. I know that's a word a lot of people are grossed out by, moist. I happen to think it's an awesome word. It's what it says it is. So there we go. I don't mono root. I think people who do mono root are some of the most patient and cool people in the whole world. And if you find a good rooter, oh my goodness, that's your best friend right there. I don't enjoy rooting. I like the effect of rooted hair, but I don't have the patience for mono rooting. That being said, I don't thickly root or pluggy root a baby. There's probably 2 or 3 hairs in each push. I do directionally root, which means that I'm rooting this hair in the direction that this hair is painted, so that when you go to style the hair, you kind of have a roadmap on how to do that. And yeah, and I've been top rooting now the last probably 30 babies, just because it adds softness and realism. I prefer a baby with just a painted head because it's lower maintenance. This is real hair, and it will age, and it will dry, and it will break, and your choices are to really take care of this mohair very, very well to make it last, or having the baby re-rooted down the line. And for me, I just like the way painted hair looks. I enjoy painting it, and I like the way it looks. But you have to admit that a baby with a little top rooting looks extra sweet. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna get your your toothbrush, and you're just gonna gently move that hair. You don't have to go hard. I don't brush hair down like this and scrape at that paint. I'm using it on the side. I'm just grabbing those little hairs, and I'm following the paint underneath the lines that the hair was painted. Now, all my babies have these little mohawks, and you're probably thinking, why does she do that? Well, it's because all my children had this same kind of hair pattern, and this is how I did their hair when they were babies. I don't know why. We have a nickname for it. It's called the baby Wito, and all my kids got this cute little hairstyle. And for me, it's just nostalgic. You don't have to keep this. You can play around with this, and honestly, there's nothing more relaxing than grooming a reborn. Probably not a lot of people will admit that, but it is. And when you have a real baby, you groom them, but you're doing it super fast, because most kids and most babies hate grooming, especially anything to do with hair. And so you don't get to really savor that. And with a reborn, you can do this a million times and change their hairstyle and give them bows and barrettes and all that kind of stuff that, you know, a biological child might not put up with. So it's a perk. And so I'm just combing that hair. Most mohair has a little bit of wave to it. This blonde mohair originally was pretty straight. It was processed to be straight, and it still has its curling memory. So over time, with lots of grooming, its wave is going to come back just a little bit. And this mohair isn't like the #1 top quality softest mohair in the world, but I used it because it was the perfect texture. It's a little bit more coarse than maybe yearling, and that means that it has body, and it'll do this. Also, the color matched the painting perfectly, and I like it. I'm super happy with it. And you can finger curl, and that just means putting your finger here and just brushing over your finger a little bit. And one more thing, which I'm going to do now just because I'm shipping this baby off. I use a teeny weeny bit of hair gel. I don't use a lot. I try not to get it on the skin. Again, there are chemicals in here that I don't know are super safe with paint. And when you have mohair in the studio, it means you have mohair everywhere. And just a tiny bit. And I'm not going to put it on this baby's head. I'm just going to put it on, sorry, I handled her a little roughly. Just on the very, very tippy top of that hair. Now, I would normally just do this if I wanted a style to stay for a bit. And I'm doing this before I send her because a little bit of that gel will be in her hair when she arrives, even though it's dry. And so when she wets the hair, it will kind of reconstitute that gel, and she'll have an easier time styling that baby. And there you go. And it will stay like this. I mean, it's going to stay like this for a while. The shine that you're seeing is going to dry. That's just a little bit of the conditioner that got onto the vinyl. And that's that. Again, have fun. Do whatever makes you happy. And so I'm going to, pardon me, I'm going to get her ready to go home. And hopefully her mommy will be super happy with her. And hopefully when she gets home, her hair won't be too yucky. That's it.